All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's go over a couple distinct changes we made to two characters that were in the game, and we had to do some updates to them. So we have Yugi, and what we did was go ahead and add in one, two, three, four new skills to him. Now, let me tell you why we did that. Yugi is a good character, or was a good character. He was a little simple, and honestly, we just felt that he needed more. He could have had some more options. He was just too straightforward. He was just damage and a stun and then a reflect. And though that is, enough for a character, it's Yugi, man. He's a main character of the Yu-Gi-Oh series. We want to showcase a little bit more of his abilities. We want to give him a little bit more of a tool set that isn't just your standard damage. And though I did give him a couple damage skills, we also gave him two non-damage skills. So let's go over the first one. Dark Magician will now, instead of not doing anything after using it except for going on cooldown, it will now swap to Dark Magician Girl for one turn. Now, Dark Magician Girl is a cheaper cost, 1 white chakra, and it's half the damage, but it deals 5 additional damage for every time you've used Dark Magician in this game, which it goes with the Dark Magician Girl card. I think it's something like for every Dark Magician you've summoned or every Dark Magician in your deck, something like that. I wanted to keep that theme with the actual Yu-Gi-Oh game, so for every Dark Magician you've cast this game, it's going to deal 5 additional damage, but we also made it combo with Swords of Revealing Light, like Dark Magician and Summon Skull do. And it's just a regular cheap skill. So now what Yugi didn't have before was cheap skills, except for his fourth skill, right? But it made it significantly harder to get Exodia. And sort of that was kind of on purpose, because it is 50 piercing to a random enemy after you use 5 skills. It was still hard to get, and he just needed some help. So it's now easier to achieve the 50 piercing Exodia, and you can probably even hit it twice a game a lot easier now. I don't even think you were able to at all before. I've never done it before anyway. Okay, so now we have the cheap one-turn option with Dark Magician. We also gave Summon Skull a cheap one-turn option, which is Gaia the Fierce Knight. So it's 20 piercing damage that bypasses, cannot be countered or reflected, and also makes the target unable to reduce damage or become invulnerable for 3 turns. We also made it combo with Swords of Revealing Light, just like Dark Magician Girl, Dark Magician, and Summon Skull. So it's just another cheap 1 green option, which he didn't have another cheap option like that before, so just another cheap option of the skill, and a nice cannot be countered, reflected, and bypasses. So if Guy wants to get you, Guy's going to get you. We also made his magic cylinders, keeping with the running theme of 1 use and then switch to an alternate. We gave the magic cylinders 1 use and then switched to an alternate, which we gave him like a actual Yu-Gi-Oh trap card feel now. So it places a permanent trap card on an ally, either Yu-Gi-Oh or Yugi or himself, or an ally. And it will counter the next enemy harmful skill, whenever that is. It's permanent, so it could be all game. And when it counters them, it will stun their helpful skills permanently, and also cap their non-infliction damage to 15 permanently. Now, this was me doing my best to kind of convert Spellbinding Circle from the Yu-Gi-Oh game over to an arena game. And though it is, a little bit taking some liberties, I think that it's a great conversion, and it's also a really helpful skill effect just in general. Counter, and then you limit their damage to 15 and stun their helpful skills permanently. That's a great skill. Then, just because, why the fuck not? Spellbinding Circles usable once, and then will permanently swap to Monster Reborn, which Yugi revives a dead ally with 100 HP for 3 energy. And we gave him a full 100 HP revive, which is pretty crazy, but it's pretty cool. I wanted to find some use for Monster Reborn. So with Joey, we did something very similar. So, Salamandra, instead of swapping to Jinzo, it will now swap to Grave Robber. Grave Robber is a skill with an effect that is honestly the first of its kind. Grave Robber makes Joey place an invisible trap card on an ally or himself. So this is going to be another permanent trap card, just like Spellbinding Circle. And whenever an enemy uses the first harmful skill on the target, it will counter them and then permanently rob them of their second and fourth skill for the rest of the game, replacing it with this Grave Robbed does nothing skill. So they lose access to their second and fourth skill, whoever gets countered. First effect of its kind. I thought it was pretty unique, thought it was pretty interesting. Now when you use Grave Robber, it will then swap to Jinzo for the rest of the game. And when you use Jinzo, I've added another effect. Graceful Dice grants a random ally 15 additional damage for the rest of the game. Now that's pretty high, that's a lot of damage. But now think, you got to use Salamandra, Grave Robber, then Jinzo to get access to this. So for the time it takes to get access to the skill, and it hits randomly, I think it's reasonable. And not only do you just stop there, Graceful Dice will then swap permanently to Skull Dice, which this is a repeatable effect. It will go on a cooldown for 4 turns and make a random enemy reduce their damage by 15 for the rest of the game. Now, Time Wizard. It did not used to swap to anything, but now it does. It's going to swap to Trap Hole, and it's another trap card, just like Grave Robber and Spellbinding Circle. Joey places an invisible trap card in an ally or himself permanently, countering the next enemy harmful skill used against them and executing the target if their health is at 40 HP or below. And then this is on cooldown, so you can use the skill multiple times. And if one is still active, because it is permanent until somebody gets countered, if you use it on someone when it's active, it's going to remove the previous one that was already placed and then place a new one instead. So you can't have 2 at a time, you can only have 1 at a time. So Joey's got a little bit of an upgrade. He isn't just all... We just gave him some more utility options. I wanted him to be more interesting. Yugi got a little update. And why not give Joey an update too? I mean, they're best friends. Yugi! And Time Wizard! We had to just help him out, man. So here's our little updates. Hope you guys like it and enjoy. Peace out and bye.